that same fire is love? Do you have that fire in your heart? Do you have a heart for love? Do you love God above all things? Above all things. Above money, above power, above prestige, above what people think of you. You love God above all things for his own sake, and your neighbor as yourself out of love for God. If someone were dying and on their way to hell, would you stand in the gap? Would you get in a fight with the devil for their soul? Do we have any guts? Do we have a spine? Love is not a weak-kneed, spineless emotion. Love is strong. Love desires salvation for all men, and not just desires it, but is willing to do something about it. My brothers and sisters, this is Easter. Now the churches will be full this weekend. Churches that are otherwise not normally full on Sunday, at Easter they'll be full. I talked to my mother this evening. She could hardly get into our church at home because it was already full for the vigil mass, but that church is normally half empty. Well, it's okay. Better to at least go on Easter. That's a good start. A lot of people go on Easter and then keep going. Nothing wrong with that. I was away 20 years myself. Hadn't gone to church for 20 years. Imagine that. That's right. That happens. But you know what? That fire that Jesus came to cast on the earth, you never know when it's going to catch. In you, or in me, or in anyone else. And so this night of hope, we lift up our hearts and our minds to that light who is Christ, that beautiful celebration of light that begins the Easter Vigil. Think about this. All over the world, millions of Catholics and other Christians too are celebrating this holy night. In Europe, in Africa, in Asia, in all parts of this country, people are celebrating the victory. The Lamb who was slain and yet lives. The one who was lifted up in order to draw all men to himself. His victory, we begin to celebrate this holy night. But you want to celebrate it not just externally. We want to carry this celebration into all the days of our life. The way you celebrate this is by entering into the victory. We are people of the promise. We should be the most joyful people on earth. One of my childhood friends says he doesn't believe in God. And he used to be Catholic, and he said, look, if you Catholics believe what you believe, then how come you're not the happiest people in the world? Good question. If we really believe it, and we're going to be convincing to others, then how come we're not different from all the rest of the world? He has a good point. And I said, you know, you're right. The day enough of us begin to live it, you'll come back. And he smiled and he said, I probably will. And he will. This night is a night of hope. You know what hope is? That theological virtue by which we desire heaven and eternal life. That's our true happiness. Do you desire heaven and eternal life with all your heart and all your mind and all your strength, realizing what it cost to give you and I the chance to get there?